Well, it appears another seismic survey is on the cards for South African waters, and this time it's along the Western Cape coast. Fossil fuel giant Shell began conducting such a survey in December, and it sparked international outrage before being interdicted by the Makhanda High Court. Well, this time another company, along with the Petroleum Agency of South Africa, could begin a survey off the Western Cape coast by the end of the week. Seismic survey technology has been linked to cause lasting damage to marine life. Well, details on this latest survey, however, remain quite murky. Ed Stoddard is a contributor for Business Maverick, and he's been looking for answers. Ed, thank you so much for joining us. What I'm quite perplexed about in both of these seismic surveys is that we've known so little about it until a few days before it's meant to be actually executed.
Yes, hi, good morning. That is one of the issues. It's certainly one of the concerns out there, is that the level of public consultation and participation in advance of these surveys. The company in question here sent me an email over the weekend and said that they had fairly extensive community consultations, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of people who are aware of that.
In terms of another seismic survey being conducted, this time, as you say, on the Cape West Coast, how much can be done now for those communities around the area who would like to stop it? Is going to court and getting another interdict the only way forward?
That would appear to be the case. And I have to say that the scientific evidence about the damage that is done to marine life by seismic surveys is not set in stone. There is a large body of peer-reviewed literature which suggests there is considerable damage, but there's also a considerable body and a growing body of peer-reviewed literature which suggests that the damage is minimal. So unlike, for example, say the theory of evolution or climate change, there isn't precisely a scientific consensus on this issue. Having said that, No,
that's interesting because, you know, it sounds, these massive reverberations on the seabed, you know, it sounds very dramatic, and it sounds very damaging to marine life. So, I mean, it just, on the face of it, on a prima facie sort of rule, it seems like it's very damaging.
Yeah, indeed. But I was just a short while ago, I was speaking with an Australian scientist who was the lead author of a study last year off the northwestern coast of Australia, I believe it was, that looked at the impact of seismic surveys on commercially valuable fish species, and it concluded that it could not find that it was damaging. Having said that, that study was not focused on marine mammals, for example, whales and dolphins, and there is certainly a lot of concern about the potential damage to whales, especially on the Western Cape coast, where there is significant whale migration routes. So, like I say, there's not exactly a scientific consensus on it, but having said that, the fact is that there is pretty much a scientific consensus on climate change and the link with fossil fuels. And so as South Africa embarks on this green transition for its economy, questions will be raised about why South Africa is trying to develop a fossil fuel industry at the time when a lot of people are beginning to write the obituary for the industry.
Absolutely. That brings me to my next question. What does government stand to gain from giving these big multinationals permission to conduct these surveys?
Well, I suppose they would argue that there's foreign investment. They might also, one of the things that Wood Mackenzie, which is a major global oil consultancy, In its outlook for 2022, has said, there's a handful of places that are going to be significant exploration plays in 2022. And Namibia and South Africa are among that handful. So there certainly seems to be more seismic surveys on the way. And certainly the DMRE has certainly welcomed these developments, as we know.
All right, we'll have to watch this one and see whether it actually takes place. It seems that civil society has been quite active, certainly when it came to the Shell seismic plans that were interdicted. That was journalist Ed Stoddard. Thank you so much for your time there.